time for us to get started. 8 o'clock. So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the call. So, we've been looking forward to tonight because tonight is not a normal call from us. Rick Gregory has his daughter's Peppa Pig earphones on. Nice, Rick. Nice touch like those. Yeah. See, nobody might have mentioned that. I might have noticed that we hadn't mentioned it.
What's that?
Yeah. So, we've had, Sam and I have had an interesting 10 days with Diva now, haven't we?
That's possibly the biggest understatement going here.
Yeah. And we've been doing all sorts of stuff with this, working with it, finding out problems with it, finding out how we can improve it. We've been talking to the developers, asking them to put different things in, make little changes. The changes that they're making are just awesome. They're making a world of difference to us. So tonight's going to be about telling you what we've got, what's coming, and how it's possibly a little bit different from what we thought in the first instance, but better. And also what your part in it is for the next few weeks, because you guys are the beta testers. You guys are the ones that are taking this to the next level with us. Simon and I, what we've been doing, all the techie, geeky people call it alpha testing, what we've been doing for the last couple of weeks with this. It's like the first run of it, and we'll find the first bugs in it. The system that Simon and I have been working on doesn't look anything like what you're going to be working on. You've already seen what we've done because we made that little video that we showed you, and that was impromptu. We just did it. We were on a Zoom discussing things ourselves and said, shall we just record this so we can show everybody? But right now, we've got a bit of a presentation. We want to talk through the flow, and we want to talk through how this is actually going to work in reality. And we're going to give you some ideas about how it's actually going to work out for you and what you're going to need to be doing. So let's start off with a slideshow. And let's start it right from there. So we've got Diva coming in there. I'm guessing you guys haven't shared sound, so you can't hear it right now, but we do know that it is absolutely coming. That's really disjointed, that video anyway, so I'm going to go past it. So let's talk about why we need Diva and what difference Diva is going to make for you when it comes to networking. Here's the first reason why we need it, and it's really, really simple. I know what everyone tells you about the theory about network marketing. Go make a list of 100 people and then talk through your warm market, this, that, and the other, and we'll go out and word will spread. And we all know the theory. Fact is, warm market is really, really hard work. You know as well as I do that when you
Before you go any further, okay, but we need to play a game with this. When we ask a question, and if we say, do you agree? Can we ask everybody just to wave their hands so we know, yes, we do.
Well, we can't.
Who think?
Right. Just do that. We can't see.
We can see a stream. I know, but the people we can see is on the right-hand side. But who thinks warm market is tough? Just wave your hand if you think warm market is tough. It is. I think it is.
Okay.
Someone like Daisy doesn't think, no, it's a no-brainer. I'd just beat him up. Yeah,
Daisy's excited, and Daisy doesn't stop talking. So that's fabulous. But for most of us, there's no two ways about it. Most of us, warm market's tough. And the reason it's tough is really quite simple. Your warm market generally have seen you in the worst possible circumstances. Your warm market have seen you drunk, they've seen you stupid, they've seen you going out with girls that you shouldn't go out with, or men you shouldn't go out with. They haven't seen you going out with men I shouldn't go out with, but your warm market see you
driving silly cars, dating silly cars. Yeah.
You weren't going to talk about that. So, but people get to see you just as you really are. And when it comes then to talking about business with them, they don't talk about they don't understand credibility from your point of view, because they remember all the silly stuff. And you don't have an awful lot of credibility with your friends, because your friends will mock you. Much like you see Simon and I. There's only me that gets away with saying what I say to Simon, and it's just because we've known each other for 30 years. So we've seen each other do stupid things. So here's the other thing, though. Cold market can be tougher if you don't know what you're doing. Now, given warm market or cold market, I'll pick cold market every single day. I've got no problem with cold market. Simon is exactly the same. We both prefer cold market, because as far as we're concerned, we're not wedded to the outcome when we talk to people. They're either in or they're out. Doesn't really matter. We're just on to the next person, and that's what it's really all about. But for most people find cold market tough. And they find it tough for a few reasons. First of all, a lot of people go out talking to Facebook friends that, they get started with a business and they start to send messages out to all of the Facebook friends. And they go like, I've got 2,000 Facebook friends. Guys, you have not got 2,000 Facebook friends. You've got 2,000 names on your friends list. They are not your friends. In the real world, you start sending messages out to them, and they probably only got linked into you in the first instance because they were trying to sell you something, or you were trying to sell them something, or whatever. You do not have a real relationship with them. So when you send messages out to people, if they're not interested, they just ignore you. They don't even give you the courtesy of no thank you. They just ignore you. Or better still, they turn around and unfriend you. You don't even know about that. So sending cold messages out is just really, really hard work. And I know enough people that are on this call who've been sending those messages out by the dozens and then get put in Facebook jail for sending too many messages out, and so on and so forth. It happens time and time again. Messages aren't well crafted. And when they do, again, you don't have any credibility with them because you look desperate. If you go for groups can be even worse, in my opinion. Groups are full of spammers, scammers, and a load of people that want something for nothing. They just expect you to have something that you don't have to pay for, or they don't have to pay for, but they want it to pay them fortunes. It's just really, really tough. And the last thing, of course, is that we're not social media influencers. It's great for Brandon, who says he gets all of his business from Instagram. He's got 40,000 Instagram followers. That's fantastic. Matthew Jason, incredible. 100,000 Instagram followers. Massive, massive team. But they weren't like that 5 years ago. 5 years ago, they had no followers, no team. They worked hard, but they're a different generation to us as well. We're not. The majority of people on this call are not the Instagram generation, the Facebook generation. We come from a time that was before the internet. And so we don't know what these kids know. And that's why we've been struggling with it. And that's what Simon and I were trying to fix when we came to Diva. So here's what Diva does better for you. Diva helps us to find people who are actually looking for an opportunity. And I said this to Simon, I've said it for 2 years, and we want to be looking for people who are looking for something. Not talking to people that we're trying to sell to. Look for people who are looking. Because when you find that, then you have something to offer them, and the balance of power changes. All of a sudden, you've got what they want, and they're prepared to listen, and that makes a difference. Diva sorts out people who are serious from people who are curious, and it really, really does sort that out. And some of the tweaks that Simon and I have put in have made sure that it sorts that out. The last few days made a world of difference. Here's the thing. The leads that you'll see coming from Diva, know for a fact that they are looking at a business and they know that they'll be expected to invest some money in themselves and in their businesses. You will not get leads coming out of Diva where you spend 2 hours with them, sending messages backwards and forwards, getting them on a Zoom, getting them excited, and then they go, yeah, but I haven't got any money. Yeah, not going to happen. We have cut them out completely. So what you get is proper, qualified customers. And it all comes from the funnel that we've created. And I'm going to show you how this funnel works step by step. So first of all, we know that the main bulk of the leads that are going to come from the Facebook ad corp that we're going to do. And the ad corp, the way the ad corp is going to work is we're going to set a budget. And we're throwing numbers around at this moment in time, but for the sake of it, let's say we set a budget of £3,000 or $3,000 for an ad campaign. We're suggesting that in that ad campaign, we'll put maybe 60 slots there. And if we put 60 slots in there, then if every person took one slot, it's going to cost $50 each. We could set an ad budget of 4,000 or 5,000, and people could say, I want one slot or I want 5 slots. That's just going to, we can see how the maths work out on that, but whatever it is, we're going to pay for an advertising budget and we're going to run an advertising campaign that will have enough spend on it for Facebook to want to pay attention and send us leads at the best possible price. When they send us leads at the best possible price, we're going to get qualified leads going into the system. And when the leads go into the system, Diva is going to take over. Now, you can see this little pipeline that I've got here with all the questions that Diva's going to go through. I'm going to tell you what the questions are, just so you understand the quality of questions. These have changed from when Sam and I first set this up. So the first question they're going to ask them, Diva's going to ask them, is introduce itself, and then it's going to say, I need to know a little bit about yourself before we go any further. First of all, are you working? Do you work full-time, part-time, or are you unemployed? Let's find out who we're talking to. Next question is, what's the most important thing on your wish list? Is it, I want to be financially free? Do I want more time with the family and friends? Do I want to change my job? And it gives them 3 or 4 different options. They choose the option that really motivates them the most. Then we're going to ask them how much a week they want to be making in order to make their dreams come true. And it really gives us a goal as to just how ambitious these people are and how much we need to work with them and go from there. So they could put $100 a week, they could put £100 a week, put £100, they could put 500 a week, 1,000 a week, 5,000 a week. And we've been having people consistently putting in £5,000 a week. I mean, that surprised me. I thought that was too big a number for that. Simon insisted on £5,000 going in there. But he was absolutely right, because people were looking at it. I'm still not 100% certain whether they're thinking that's weekly or monthly, but whatever it is, people are clicking £5,000 plus on a weekly basis. Next question is, how many hours of work a week are you prepared to work to make this happen? And then we see some disparities, because some people put down that they're prepared to work 12 hours a week, 15 hours a week more. Yeah. A couple of people put 6 hours a week or 3 hours a week to make £5,000 a week. I don't know what alternative for a planet they're working on, but nonetheless, some people think they can do that. And then we ask them, how quickly do you want to see those results? And I've seen people with leads coming through to me that say, I want to make £100 a week. And if I can make £100 a week within the next 6 months, I'm happy. And I've seen people who say, if I can make £5,000 a week in the next month working 3 hours a week, I'm happy. We have to sort of have a conversation with those, don't we? But we're getting a picture. We've got enough information to have a conversation. Here's where we made a massive change a couple of days ago. And the big change that we put a couple of days ago was we added some other questions into the equation. So we ask, have you set aside any capital to start your new business? Yes or no? If they answer yes, we ask how much. I love that question, because I'll tell you now, if we told you guys to ask that question of every prospect that you've got. Have you put some money aside to start your business? Yes. How much? I'll tell you now, the majority of you will not have what it takes to say how much. You'll think it's rude. You'll think I can't say that. You know, I don't want to be offensive or whatever. Diva doesn't care. Diva just asks the question and we get answers. If they say no, they haven't got that, then Diva will turn around and say, okay, well, if you haven't got that, that's fine. But if you needed to put some money together to start a business, could you come up with some money? If they say yes, how much? And if they say no, well, then Diva will turn around and say, well, with the best will in the world, I'm sorry, but we can't help you because it's going to cost you some money to get started in a business. So if you don't have any money to put into the business, we can't help you. But feel free to come back as soon as you've got something and we'd love to hear from you. Thanks, end of conversation. What that means to you guys is that you only get proper qualified leads. The people that could be wasting your time will be gone by then. And some people will be gone before then. Some people won't have got that far into the funnel. I'll tell you now, we've had people dropping out at the very first question. We've got people who log into Diva. Diva says hello and people just disappear. But at least we know where we're up to. The time wasters are gone. And when we get rid of the time wasters, we get rid of the negatives for you. The more negatives we can get rid of for you, the better the frame of mind when you actually start talking to people. So at that point, when Diva's asked all of her questions, Diva will then ask one last question. And the question is, how do we take this conversation further? We're going to have a conversation with you. Would you prefer to do the conversation by telephone or by WhatsApp? Now, when we first started doing it, the question was telephone or here on Messenger.
Rog, that's not how it went. How would you like to be contacted? Would it be by telephone or would it be on chat here?
Yeah, that's what I just said. I was just saying, when we started, that's what it was.
Yeah,
chat but everybody said Messenger, and it was so hard trying to take people beyond that. We took two different approaches to get it. I tried the nice and gentle way of getting it. Simon tried clubbing people over the head, saying, give me your phone number. Either way was sort of, we were about 50-50 in terms of which was more effective. Yeah? I have no idea who that is. Whoever it is, can you mute your microphone, please? Can you see who it is, Simon? You'll see it lighting up. You can tell me who it is.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Amit's muted.
Okay. All right. So either way, we decided we wanted a better system. So we went back to John again and we said, can we ask a different question? Can we ask a question? How would you prefer to be contacted, by telephone or by WhatsApp? And it's amazing how easily people just say WhatsApp if that's the choice. And at that point, we just included a button in it and they just click the button to talk to us on WhatsApp. And then it sends us a message and we have their WhatsApp number. So now we can follow people up. Now, some people still don't give us that. They'll turn around and just go past. So we're still got a little bit of tweaking that we need to do and a little bit that you can do to make sure that you get that information as we go through. But eventually the message gets passed on to you. When the message gets passed on to you, all you need to do is introduce yourself, say hello. I'll tell you now straight away before you get the chance to say anything, because it says to them, ask your question. And the question from almost everybody is, what's it all about? What is it? And they want to go straight in for you to explain the business. I just turn around and very quickly say to people, we're an online academy that shows people how to make money from home. We've been around for a long time. We've got 250,000 customers. Have you ever owned any kind of business yourself? I always finish a question with a question. When they ask me a question, I always finish it with another question back to them. If I don't ask another question back to them, they'll just come back with another question again. So always answer a question with a question. That progresses the conversation because it either leaves it stone dead or somewhere. So I ask if they've ever run a business before. Whatever their answer is, I'll then just turn around and say, we've got a couple of different ways you can make money. We can either teach you how to trade and make profit that way, or you can act as kind of like an affiliate for us and help find customers for us as well. So you've got a couple of choices. Which one would you prefer to do? Again, a question at the end of the question. And I ask them for an option. And I actually phrase it, you can either learn to trade, or you can be an affiliate, or you can be both. So you've got three choices. Whatever choice they give me out of those, I then just turn around and say, right, probably the next thing for me to do is to send you a video or invite you onto a Zoom, whichever one. Depends on timing. If we're doing this tomorrow, I'm going to be telling everybody to come to the Zoom. If we're doing it on Thursday, everybody come to the Zoom. If we're doing it on Friday, I'm sending them a video, because I want to get people through this process as fast as possible. I don't want to have someone on Friday waiting for next Wednesday's Zoom. That's just insane. They'll be dead by then. Yeah. So we just keep people moving at a pace. So it's either Zoom or video. Once they come back from that, the next step for absolutely every single one of you is to follow up on WhatsApp. So you need to have got that. Even if they haven't given you the WhatsApp number before you send the Zoom or the video link, then I want the WhatsApp number before I send that link out, so I can do that follow-up. And if not, I'm not going to progress it any further. If they turn around and they don't answer me, and that happens an awful lot, people will just go quiet on you, they'll disappear because you're in some sort of a chat. I'll leave it for a while, then I'll go back and I will say to them, Mary, you said you want to make 2,000 a month. You want to make it within the next 3 months. You've got 15 hours a week. You want to get started. If you want us to do that, we need to have a conversation. What's your WhatsApp number? And I remind them of everything that they said that they want. And it's really, really important that you remind people of everything that they said they want, because you've got to remind them that they're asking us for something, not the other way around. So we'll push it on that way. At that point, you then get into a three-way call. And the three-way call is what will make all the difference. Given a three-way call, Simon insists that it'll sign 4.5 out of 5 up. I haven't got any blood on that one, so she must be one of the other 4. But we know that our close rate, by the time we get people through that system, our close rate is very, very high. Now, all along the way, if you look at the pipeline that I drew out there, it's only sections, and there's gaps in those sections. And those gaps in the sections are there for a purpose, because what happens is people drop out all along the line. And the further you go down, the more people will drip out of here. That's why it's the funnel. The idea is that people will drop out of there so that you're only talking to the better qualified people. So right up at the top here, when you see earlier numbers of people, bigger numbers of people dropping out up here, that's by design. We want them to drop out along there so that you're only getting to talk to the better people here. And you'll have less people drop out at this line, and eventually we'll have more distributors coming out of there. Simon had an analogy of a hose pipe. Simon, you tell them the hose pipe analogy.
Yeah, well, going back about 25 years ago, I was at an event and I was told this story. And I thought, oh, that's really, really, because I think in pictures, and the speaker was at the front of the room, and he turned around and said, imagine if you had a 10-acre plot of land. And imagine you've got to water the land with just a hose pipe. So you connect the hose pipe to your outside tap. You then take the hose pipe around the garden. You turn the tap on. What happens? Does water come out the end of the hose pipe? Does it? Yes or no? Put your thumbs up if you say yes. Okay, water Water does not come out the end of the hose pipe. Why? Because you've got to fill the pipeline. It takes time for that water to go all the way round 10 acres of land to get to the end of the nozzle. So that's the concept about filling your pipeline. That's why with me, I always look to fill my pipeline with prospects. And that's why I love prospecting of a weekend. Now, obviously with lockdown, every day is like a weekend. But it's like, I like to, if I'm going to trade, obviously you trade on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday is a trap day, so we don't trade on Fridays. But then Saturday and Sunday are phenomenal prospecting days. So that's what I tend to do and use prospecting days.
And that was the idea.
Yeah,
That was,
so
that was the
you need
concept
to
that we
keep
had. Yeah, and that was the concept that we had here. That was why we used this pipeline diagram for you, because this is about filling your pipeline. When I go back 30 years ago now, I was a sales manager for a Rover dealership in Manchester, and we had to order our stock so that we had cars to sell at appropriate times of year. Big selling times of the year were January and August, and we needed to have more cars in stock at those times than we did at other times. So we had just a T-board there. We ordered our cars from the manufacturer, and it was called pipeline, and we just moved them along month by month, so we knew what cars were being built, when they were likely to arrive, so that we had an appropriate number of cars to sell at peak demand times. This is the same for you. The more people that you can put into the top of that funnel, from whether it be from Facebook ads, from the ad co-op, or other ways, and we're going to touch on other ways of adding people into it as well, but the more people that you can put into Diva, the more you'll get out at the other end of it. And the quicker you'll actually get them out at the other end, but you need to keep putting people in, because if you stop putting people in, if you stop running the ads, then eventually some are going to drip away and leak away, and eventually the last one will come out, and then you've got nothing left in your pipeline. And if you've got nothing left in your pipeline, you've got to start filling it again, and you've got another delay. So right now, these next couple of weeks for us are going to be the point of filling your pipeline. So let's talk about what we need to be saying and what you need to know right now to do it. So the first thing you need to understand is that Diva is not magic, and Diva is not going to do it for you. If you don't put your part into it, it's not going to work. Your first objective when you start talking to people is to get their WhatsApp WhatsApp number, so you can follow people up. That's the number one goal when you talk to them. Once you've got that, then you need to get them onto a Zoom or watching a video. And you want them watching that Zoom or watching that video as quickly as you possibly can. Diva is all about catching people quickly. The best time to catch someone is when they're first interested. And when you get a lead through from Diva, you know that these people have expressed interest a few minutes ago. You've got them when you're red hot. That's the time when they are most interested in it. If you leave it for 3 hours before you respond, other things have happened. And some of the things that happened could be that they could be looking at someone else's ad as well, or they could be looking at another Facebook group, and they could be looking at another business, and they could be looking at someone else in your business, and they could start talking to someone else. So you need to contact people as quickly as possible. Really do not try to close these people yourself. It's so tough trying to close these people yourself. A three-way call makes all the difference in the world. First of all, a large number of you are relatively new to this business. If you have to explain all the details of it, you're going to struggle. If I have to explain all the details of it, I'd probably struggle if I had to explain every detail. So would Simon. But Simon and I both know how to take control of the conversation and how to lead it through and get them to understand that this is a learning process, and you're going to learn that as you go along. The difference is that Simon and I have got years and years of experience in how to actually lead and control that conversation. You might not have those years of experience in leading and controlling a conversation. The other thing, of course, is posture, is attitude. When it comes to posture and attitude, no one better than Simon. There is a man with an attitude. Can't resist it, sorry. But Simon is extremely confident, and it comes across. And I'm extremely confident, and it comes across. And if you're talking to people and you're not confident, that comes across as well. And people walk all over you. People ask you questions wanting to watch you squirm. And when they see you squirm, you're not going to get them. So don't try and close it yourself. Do a three-way call. We say here the fortune's in the follow-up, and Simon said that 1 billion times, possibly more than that. The fortune is absolutely in the follow-up. You will see people who will go every step along this way. You'll ask them questions, they'll stop talking to you. If you leave it where they've just stopped talking to you, you've lost. You need to go back and you need to follow people up. And when I go back and I follow people up, I do exactly what I said to you before. I remind them why they said they were contacting us. You said you want to make £5,000 a week. You want to be doing that in the next 3 months. You've got 15 hours a week to put in. That's not a lot of time to put in. If you expect to get that in 15, you need to get going now. And I remind people exactly what it is. If they turn around and they still delay and they still don't come back to me and they don't respond, I'm going to leave it no more than 24 hours. And within 24 hours, I'll go back and I'll say, Mary, before I close your inquiry, and then I'll just repeat back what they said they wanted, do you still want to know how I can help you to get your £2,000 a week or whatever it may be? And I'll give it to them again. Diva can only follow up for a maximum of 24 hours. Simon and I are working with John, and we've just got to finish a final tweak that we're going to put in tomorrow, so that Diva will send a message 23 hours and 59 minutes after they come on. So if they haven't spoken to us for a full day, then Facebook gives us 24 hours. So we'll take it to the last possible minute, and right at the last minute, when Facebook still lets us, we're going to go back and have another go at it. We're automating this as much as we possibly can for you, but you still have to follow these up. When they come through to you, these leads belong to you. So you need to be doing that follow-up. What you do need to understand is that when you're talking to people on this, they don't want to move at your speed. Simon and I want to talk to them, and we want them, right, let's join up now. I want people signed up right now. We were hoping, last Monday when we started, we were hoping that by Thursday we'd have been saying, that's the first one done. It's a bit slower than that. We've got to fill our pipeline up. So we've learned something here, but we need to make sure that you guys understand that as well. People don't want to move at the same speed that Simon and I want to move at. So we've got to establish what will motivate them to action, and we've got to get them going. We've both got people on the go right now that are close to tipping over, and we know that we're going to get people out of this. Hopefully we're going to have people by this weekend that are already signed up from the system before you've actually got yours. But remember, the important thing right now isn't what Simon wants, it's not what I want, it's not what you want that counts, it's what your prospect wants. When you can remember what your prospect wants and keep feeding back to them that it's all about what they want, when they know that you want what's important to them, then they're more prepared to listen. But the biggest trick is to keep that pipeline full. Now we can do that. We've taken care of that. We've given the machine to fill the pipeline and keep it going, but you need to keep on going with them. At that point, I want to just move into something that's not to do with the stuff that comes from the advertising corp as well, because there's more that you can do to feed that in. And what you're getting with Diva is you're getting something very, very special. And it's weird, when we actually did the first call with all of you and we had John on with us, John told us something that Simon didn't know. And that was that Fraser had recorded a special training just on this subject, just on how to fill the pipeline for Diva. So Diva can do so much more than just advertising for you. You can use it in social media posts. You can put your own posts up, and some of you guys write fantastic posts. You do. There's some good stuff that's going out there right now. But all you got to do is put a link on for people to respond that goes back to Diva, and the system starts working from your social media posts. You can put it in your emails. You can put it in your signature file in your email. You can put it wherever you like. You can send it in text messages to people that you know that really don't do that much on the internet, but you'd like them to look at it anyway. You can put it on business cards. You can put it on posters. We talked about car signs the other week. You can do whatever you want, because you can make a QR code that someone can just take a picture with their phone of a QR code, and that will link them into Diva. There are tons and tons of different things that you can do to keep that pipeline full. Every activity.
The biggest benefit is this is an automated system. When you get into it, you're going to be seeing, wow, I've got this person right up to the wire, and I've done nothing. I've actually physically done nothing. And that's the exciting part of it. Your time, you can do whatever you want to do with your family. And as long as you buy your phone or buy your computer and you can respond if they want any response, bingo, done deal. It is so awesome.
And when Simon says you've done nothing, he doesn't mean that in a negative way. What he means is you actually haven't had to go and find these people. You've taken them along. They've gone along the system by themselves. He doesn't mean you've done nothing to get people in the first instance.
No, that's not what
But
I mean.
the fact is, the system is just awesome right now. Here's what we have found. We found it's not as fast as we wanted it to be, but it's consistent. The leads come in, that they're like robotic. They're so consistently coming in. Should we just log into the back and just show people just how many leads have come through?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to do another screen share. So, right. So when leads come through, they'll come through looking like this in Messenger. And close that. And it just says like this. Live chat notification. Someone assigned a conversation with Simon Dooley to you. And then it says view in live chat. So I click on live chat. Now, I still can't tell you. Oops, that's not linking. There we go. I still can't tell you whether live chat, when you guys see it, will look like this. I'm hoping it'll look prettier than this does. It can't look like this anyway. That's not what you want to see. I want that. There we go. Facebook's on a go slow. So the Facebook is on my computer is.
Put some more coal in it.
That's because I was criticizing Simon's computer the other day. Okay, so we have here, this refreshes, it said 28, I saw 28 a second ago. That's 28 open conversations right now that Simon and I have got on the go. So we've got a bunch of people right now. I'm going to click into audience, and I want you to see just how many leads we've had come in just over 7 days. And look how quickly these are coming through. This is, we've got a small, these leads, as these are coming through now, these are the ones that we've really filtered out. These are the ones where we've said to people, if they turn around and say that they haven't got any money, sorry, we can't do anything for you, gone, that's not a lead. Yeah, these are qualified leads that are coming through. But I want you to look at all these numbers and all these names and see how many have come through in just, it's actually 8 days that we've been testing this. with live ads. In fact, it's not 8 days because we didn't get live ads for the first couple of days, did we? Because we were sorting them out with Ollie. It's probably 6 days of live ads. In fact, this is going to tell me how many days ago it is. 7 days. There's my number. So those, yeah. Oh, they did a couple of tests for us. So there we go. But just look at all those numbers and all those different leads all coming through. Now, the early ones, we had some leads that we just considered were duds in there because they couldn't afford it. They were the tire kickers. We've now figured out how to get shut of the tire kickers for you. So we can simplify that. What you're now going to get is a steady flow of leads. As far as these are concerned now, how long you guys have got to capitalize this, I reckon that numbers will slow down when lockdown finishes. So we need to get this running as fast as we can. We've been talking to John today and he says he is very close. I'm hoping that within no more than a week, you'll actually have your systems live in your hands and you're all good to go. Now, when we do that, we need you to help with this as well, because like I said, right now, Sam and I have done the first stage of testing, but the idea for having you guys to help us test it in the first instance, we expected that we were going to do a solid month of testing on our own. And I think, was it Andy Brown who started the ball rolling when he came to yours? And that's the question, yeah? Someone came to yours and said, can I be a tester?
Andy came.
Yeah,
he was in Liverpool at a funeral and he came up.
Yeah, and he said, can I be a tester as well? And that's when we gave the idea and we offered you guys the opportunity to become testers as well. But the idea is that we need you guys to give us data back. So we need feedback from you about these leads. So we need to know how many inquiries you're getting on a daily basis. And it's really important we know how many inquiries you're getting on a daily basis, because you should all be getting approximately the same number. There might be one person difference, because there might be one person who gets 3 leads on one day, or 4 leads on one day and 3 leads on the next day, because it's just ticked over the 24-hour period or whatever. But you should all be round about the same number. We shouldn't have one person saying, I got 6 leads and I got 4 leads. They should all be within one number of each other. But we need to know that, so we need you to feed that back to us. That way we can feed that back to John and Ollie and make sure that the rotator is working properly, to make sure that everyone is getting their fair share. We also need to make sure that the quality of leads is what we expect. We found some oddities. All these leads are all targeted towards the UK. And I know we've got a couple of guys, not just Louis, we've got Brian on as well from Australia, who's actually got this system. And I know you guys are the opposite side of the world, but don't worry, when you get your guys, we're here to look after them and we'll work with them. But all the leads are geared towards the UK at this moment in time.
But the benefit is it works. That's the key fundamental. You will get people that you didn't know that you can prospect and you can share the opportunity with. And we're still putting the final tweaks in and everything else. Because I said to Roger several times today, we need a hook. Now, when I used to advertise in the national press going back 25 years ago, I used to always say to my prospects, when I sent out my information packs, I always used to turn around and say, rather than me chase them, I wanted them to chase me. So I turn around and say, hey, John, can you give me a call back? I know it's going to sound like a doctor's or dentist appointment, but I'm going to post this information pack to you today, which is Monday. You're going to receive it on Tuesday. Let's say you're going to go through it on Wednesday. Can you give me a call back on Thursday? Which is best for you? Daytime or evening? He said evening. Okay, so I said, can we make it at 8:15. I know that sounds like a doctor's or dentist appointment, but I said, to you now, I need to make sure I make appointments with people for when they're going to call back. And when you call back, can you please remind me, I'd like to offer you a business proposition. Yeah, great. Now, I used to get around about 65% of the contacts call me back, which made my job a lot easier. Now, did I know what the business proposition was? No. I had to think about that. But then I used to come out with an idea and everything else. So I'm just now tweaking different stuff, working with like Rog and thinking, we need to do something. We need to create a book. Say again.
We do have, though. I mean, what you've been saying for the last 2 years is the perfect business proposition. Here's the thing. When you say that to someone, guys, you can genuinely say to someone, when you call me back, I have a business proposition for you. Because here's the deal. You have now a non-stop flow of leads coming in. And you've only got 3 legs that you can put these people in. So you tell people, if you're the next person that comes under me, I'm going to start building people under you. And you are. You are going to be building your own teams. So you sign one person up now in one leg. You sign the next person, you put them in the other leg. If your upline is working this system as well, your upline should really be building one leg for you. I have Simon as an upline for me. Simon builds one leg for me, and I can work on my others and I can build the other legs. And so I work on building those other legs, knowing that Simon will take care of one. And my guys work building down one leg, and they can build the other 2, and I'll build one leg with them. That's the way this will work. So what you do is you tell people, I will work with you and I will build a team with you. Not for you. I won't do it for you, but I will do it with you. And when you have a non-stop supply of leads coming in, and you can start stacking people under people, and they know that you've got a non-stop supply of leads coming in, they're more likely to get involved. So that's the proposition. But we're going to come up with a sexy way of phrasing it. And I'm actually going to have John code something into Diva so that it will actually make that offer for you to the people who aren't responding. You can make that same offer to everybody that you actually get through to. But the people who aren't responding, the people who are just going dead on you, I'm going to make sure that Diva says it before they go completely dead. So we still get in and we still get a final bite at the cherry with them and see if we can actually get it to work that way. But we've been dreaming of this for years now, trying to come up with this particular platform for us. We've gone through so many duds, and we've worked with so many people with different things that we thought were so good, and they just haven't worked. And some of you guys have been with me and tested some of these different things with me, and they haven't worked through. But this is just working just like clockwork for us. I've never seen such a steady flow of leads coming through. And when these steady leads are coming through and they're people who actually want to talk to us and they actually want to build a business, now we have something awesome. And you've got it all as well. So speaking...
The biggest benefit, guys, when we go down the road, and you might turn around and say, hey, what about this or this or this or this? We can tweak it ongoing to improve it permanently and permanently. That's the significance of this. Because we're in with the developers, and because we actually have got a relationship with those people, we can actually speak to them on a regular basis to get it to work even better.
So feedback from you is going to be all important. I think what we may do is, if we put up some sort of simple, how about if we come up with some sort of simple reporting system, Simon, where people just put their name in and just say how many leads came in today. That's all we really need to know, isn't it? How many leads we've got.
Yeah.
If we come up with a link.
And the other thing as well, The other thing as well is if they have a challenge, what would you say if so-and-so says this or someone says this? How do I address this?
Here's what we can do. We can do how many leads came in? Have you sponsored anybody? And a suggestions box. 3 bits of information. That'll do, won't it? Yeah?
Yeah.
A few people have put in the chat box Google Forms. That's exactly what I was thinking of. If we put it on Google Forms, Doddle and everybody can just go to one page, just put it all in, and we can just see the information at a glance. But it just needs all of you doing it and doing it on a consistent basis for us, please. This is for your benefit as well as ours. Here's the thing. As you help us to develop this and we make this work, it doesn't just build your team now, it builds your team forever. Because all the people that you bring into this business, when they see this is how you brought them in, then they know there is a system. They know that that's what they need to do to build their own team. When Simon and I used to build from national advertising 30 years ago, we sponsor people and they said, how do you bring people in? Well, we put an advert in the Times and the Express and the Mail and the Guardian. And before too long, within 12 months, if you opened up the Sunday papers in the UK and looked at business opportunities, you'd look through the ads, and Simon and I could look through and we knew whose every individual ad was. And then you get prospects who'd phone up and they'd say, is it Lifestyles? I've had 7 of those already. Well,
that shows it works. That shows it works.
And we'll kind of have that. But the thing is, because everyone's in a co-op, you won't have that comment from anyone else. Because what happens is the ads will come through on rotation and your customers won't have got that fed up with it because your customers will only see one ad and it'll be yours.
Yeah.
It takes us to a completely new level. We're testing this right now with ads that we can place here in the UK because the majority of us are based in the UK. We said UK and Ireland. There is absolutely nothing to stop us from placing it anywhere in the world. Now, if we turn around for the Danes, or if we talk to people who are speaking a non-English language, if you're going to do a non-English language, that might present a different challenge. But there's nothing to stop us from doing it in North America, in Canada, in Australia, in wherever, for the sake of that. Nikki says, how do we deal the leads out? They just come in rotation.
John would have to do.
Sorry?
All John would have to do is when he does his preferences, he just clicks on
the country.
Yeah,
simple. He just changes the country.
Simple.
Yeah. Question from Nikki was, how do we sort the leads out? They just come in rotation, Nikki. Who it goes to is simply strict rotation. And it will start with the first person who placed the order. So by now there are 50 some of you that have actually got copies of or got access to this. But the first person who placed the order will get the first one, and the second will get the second, and the third will get the third, and then you'll just come in your turn in sequence. Once we actually get to the bottom of the list, they go back to the top of the list and start dealing out in sequence again. But when we're dealing in volume advertising, Simon and I have been dealing with really low volume advertising for the last 10 days. By the time we're running this with a big budget, these are going to be flying out like a machine gun. They're going to be going all over the place. They'll be coming thick and fast. So don't think that you're only going to be getting.
Give it 1, 2 or 3 months. You'll be amazed how good you will get.
Yeah.
It'll take on a totally different perspective.
And like everything else, there's a learning curve to it. Yeah. So like everything else, you're going to start off feeling a little bit out of your depth. Ask questions. That's what we're here for, and we'll all help. But it will turn into something that will be absolutely massive. And as you bring more people on in your team, and those more people get their own copies of Diva, every person they bring into their team is in your team. And when their people have their copies of Diva, Your team just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Angela says, what's to stop it from being sent to non-UK people? There isn't anything to stop it being sent to non-UK people. What we're doing right now is we were targeting English language for simple logistics, just because the majority of us speak English and only English. I appreciate you Europeans speak multiple languages and that we're all lazy. I can't help that. That's just the way most of us are. But for the moment,
I do speak American and Australian.
Yeah.
And Canadian.
Yeah, and quite a lot of French. So I was expecting more hand gestures then for a second.
Yeah.
So, so the fact is, we've got something that really can be awesome from us. 2 seconds. I'm going to look at some of these questions because some good questions coming up here now, Simon. So Andy says, what point do hot leads go cold if they haven't been responded to during? I don't know, Andy. It depends on the individual. Some people will have no patience whatsoever, and they might not react well to it. I have seen people that have come through to me, and I've been there responding instantly, and they haven't replied to me for 12 hours. So, and that's one of the downsides with this. We're forced to work at their speed, and that can be frustrating at times. The first couple of days, Simon and I were having conversations like this is like pulling teeth trying to talk to these people, because we're both permanently on. When it comes to WhatsApp and Messenger and Telegram, all you guys know, if you send us messages, we answer you really, really fast, and we answer prospects really, really fast. But some people some people will be cold very quickly. You know, we've found that some people just sort of click on the link, answer the questions, then they go away waiting for us to respond. And it can take, I don't know, could take however long. So up to that. Going to look at some of the other questions that we've got in here. A lot of these are just comments. Right. Okay. So Andy said earlier from Andy, if Diva sent us an initial message, what's it about? Should we be taking the WhatsApp? No, we'll be talking on WhatsApp. No, we'll be talking on Messenger in the first instance, Andy, because this goes through ManyChat. And ManyChat as a platform uses Messenger rather than WhatsApp. There is talk that sometime in the next 12 months that Messenger and WhatsApp are going to merge into one platform. And if that's the case, that'll be great for us. But at this moment in time, the initial conversations take place on Messenger. You could have a three-way call on Messenger. And I've done a three-way call with some of my guys on Messenger. Simon prefers WhatsApp. And I must admit, the beauty of WhatsApp is that we get their telephone number. We've got multiple ways of following people up at that point. So I would always want to have that as far as that's concerned. So let's see what else we've got. Yeah. Andy doesn't necessarily have internet access at 40,000 feet. Can't help that one, I'm afraid. Okay, so what are the tags, Roger? Angela wants to know what are the tags. I'm not sure which tags you're talking about, Andy, to be fair. Right, so Google Forms were okay, so anyone else? Dorothy Lewis says Germany and France would be cool. Germany and France would be difficult ones for us, Dorothy, because we'd have to be advertising in English for us to do Germany and France.
Yeah, the text on the bottom will be in English. Yeah,
I mean, we could advertise in there, but the majority of the responses are going to come through that. So what else? So Is it possible to follow? Okay, so Andy says, is it possible to forward a particular lead to one of our downline who's also on Diva if we're unable to respond? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Andy. I will ask the question because I know some people would like the idea of being able to forward leads if they can't take them, because I've got a guy in my team who knows that he won't be able to handle all of the leads at the time that they're coming through. So yeah, we'll have to see on that one, but I'll find out and I'll come back. Okay, Angela's saying on the list of leads that have come through. I'm sorry, Angela, I'm not sure. Questions. If you're asking me about tags on the list of leads, we don't get tags as such. If you're thinking of the sorts of tags that like hashtags or anything else like that, all that we tend to get is we just get a lead that comes through. You saw me take it in Messenger. It just says you've got a lead. I click through and I've got the details then. Andrew, if you've got a question, unmute yourself and we'll just ask you a question and let's see what we can do.
Hi, Roger. Thank you.
That's all right.
When you showed your list of leads in the back office,
Yeah.
to the right-hand side, there was a column and it said tags and it said Fraser's video, this, that, and the other.
No, right. I know what you're talking about now. I know what you're talking about now. No, those tags are the developer tags. So it's just things that they can see. So that side of it, you're not going to see any of that.
Okay.
So
right.
those tags are because Simon and I are working in the alpha platform. You won't see any of that, and it's not something that's useful for us. We can't tag those leads in any way, and we don't just sort of click in that says they've seen this or they've seen that. The Fraser's videos, apart from anything else, the Fraser's videos are there for you guys, not for prospects.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody else got any questions before we wrap it up?
Before we go, Roger, we need to unmute everybody and just say goodbye.
Yeah, I can see people looking as if they were going typing straight away. So, okay. Right. Okay. Nikki.
Interesting one. How do you pay for
way for you, Nikki? Okay. How do you pay for slots?
Yes.
Okay. We don't know precisely. Right now, the advertising that we've done right now, Simon and I just sent some money over by bank transfer to John and Ollie. They will set up the ad co-op. They're going to manage the ad co-op for us. So presumably it's just going to be credit card payments, and you'll just go through and pay for it and get some sort of invoice so that you can claim it back against your tax.
No, what I mean is, how do we get involved? We don't know anything about this.
Oh, right. Okay. Once we've actually got this, once we've actually got.
Hello, Roger.
Hi, this is Eamon.
Sorry.
I was just thinking.
Together.
I was just thinking she's got a really deep voice then.
Yeah. No, we've just jumped on this about the Diva, but we've not gone in, we've not come into this previously, so we don't know what this is about.
Ah, right. Okay. Right. Well, we're creating an advertising co-op where, just as I said before, we're just going to create a pool of money. We'll create one big fund where everyone can take a share of the adverts.
Yeah.
It's going to be managed by John and Ollie from Superstar Bots, who created Diva for us. They're going to control all of it, and you'll just take a position in line, and you'll get fed through. Comes through. We know that the slots are likely to start at $50 for one slot. That will be for 2 weeks of advertising.
Okay.
And depending on how many of us there are there may be more than one slot available if you want it. Depends on.
Okay, so we're looking at about $100 a week, a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, roughly.
Circa that. I mean, it can be up to you. I've got to be honest with you. Simon and I were talking just before we started this call. I am pushing really, really hard for chairman, and I'll tell you now, I'm taking more slots if there's more slots available. I'm quite happy to take we decided we'd set a maximum of 5 slots, and I'm quite happy to take 5 slots if that's going to get me the volume of traffic that I need that gets me to chairman. Now, that means spending £500 on advertising, but that's my personal choice.
Yeah. No, I wasn't sure how we get involved in it. That's all I was thinking.
Okay. Have you not actually ordered Diva yet?
No.
Right. Okay. Then all you need to do is send Simon or me a message after this call, and we'll get you the link.
Okay.
And he's just turned around and said he wants all the slots.
I saw it. Yeah. You can't, Andy. It's not happening.
Guys.
Andy wants all the slots. Not happening.
I have 120 people to go for Chairman 25. So let's rock and roll.
Okay.
All right. So, as far as Diva's concerned, there may be 1 or 2 slots left. We've pushed it to the limit, so let us know very quickly. Simon's forever pushing the limit, because at one point in time we were limited to 20 people, and now we've got nearly 60. So, so we're pushing it. But
yeah, I'm not too sure how far I can get his arm up your back.
Push it.
Hey, I can try.
Let us know as quickly as you can, and we'll sort that out for you.
Yeah, we'll do. No problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Okay. Anyone else? Any other questions? Apart from Andy wanting all the leads. Okay.
I've got a slightly
So, Alison Martin, given that people starting a new business owners are trying to build an income, they've already paid to join Diva, £50 is a lot of money. Is sending the link out via our own contract going to be just as effective? Whether it will or not, Alison, is really up to you. It depends on how diligent you're going to be in sending them out. We're going to give you the training that you need to send those. So we're giving you Fraser's training on this subject. I'll tell you now, you will pay more for the training alone than you're paying for Diva. And I know, and Simon will tell you he knows, because I bought one of Fraser's programs, 5 weeks ago, something like that, Simon? I paid more for Fraser's training than I paid for Diva. So the value that you're going to get from that alone will be mind-blowing. Do you have to spend money on advertising? No, you absolutely don't have to spend money on advertising. But if you don't spend money on advertising, you're going to have to put time and effort in. And people have a choice, Ali, as far as they're concerned when they get started. It's either going to be time and effort or put some money into it. One or the other, completely their choice. We'll do everything we can for you. But as far as they're concerned, put something. I don't think 50 quid's a huge amount when it comes to that, or $50, not £50, but I don't think $50 is a huge amount for that. I mean, honestly, 30 years ago, when Simon and I were building a business, the cost to get started 30 years ago was £2,500, and the cost of our adverts were about 70 or 80 quid per ad, but we were running 5 or 6 ads a week.
Yeah, but my national ad was £340.
Yeah.
For one insertion, for a 3-to-1 box.
Oh, I never did. I only did lineage. Nick says it will be self-funding. You're absolutely right. It will be self-funding. The beauty of this is, if you're an IBO, if you sign 2 people up in a fortnight, you get your $50 back anyway, just because you're an IBO. So, and that's really, that was the key. That was the magic bit that Sam and I were looking for. We wanted this to be self-funding, because I do know, you're absolutely right, Ali. A lot of people will turn around and say, this is all layout. If we could make it self-funding, that's going to make it work. And when I turned around and said that I'm quite happy to spend 500 quid on advertising, I expect to make that 500 quid back by recruiting more people, so I can pay for my next lot of adverts, because we don't have a bottomless pit.
Yeah, but
Say it again.
Just had an interesting response. Oh, so that outlay, is that all it is?
Yeah, I mean, I yesterday, how much, have you put some money aside to set up a business? Yes, I have. How much do you want? How much do you want to do? How much have you set aside to start a business? 1,000 plus, and without any qualms. That's the quality of the leads that we're getting. Louise said, should we go IBO now? Should we go IBO now? I'd certainly go IBO.
No.
I would go IBO before you actually start signing people up, but I'd leave. I don't think there's any need to do it today. Simon?
No.
No, I don't think
Don't
there's
do
any.
it if you know that you're definitely going to get your 3 or 4 people in to go IBO, then definitely.
Yes.
But some people, like I know Dave Bailey, actually introduces people as an IBO, but that's because he knows they're transitioning a team. So that's a different can of worms.
Yeah, I mean, when Simon and I got started, we both became IBO on day one, but we knew we were bringing people with us. So Simon and I have always been IBOs, but just do what makes sense. Alison, yeah, absolutely. I mean, when people come on board, don't forget that an awful lot of your people, when they come on board in the first instance, will probably just come on board as customers first of all, and learn to make some money out of trading before they take that other step. We're not saying this all turns into the old recruiting treadmill that everyone else has. This is a tool that takes us to the next level, but we can do whatever your customers want to do. The object of the exercise, as far as we're concerned, is getting people to make money.
The benefit is we've got no competition with this. Nobody else has got a platform like this. So this is a first. And I tell you now, guys, if or when you sponsor somebody from the Diva system, monkey see, monkey do. That's what they will do. You can turn around and say, you need this system. This system is so automated, you can grow a team. Now, can you imagine the person that came on board from the Diva system, what they're going to say to the Diva prospects? Say, well, this is where I started. This is how I started. I went through exactly the same funnel as you. It's going to be a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer.
What does make huge sense though, and that is to make sure that your team know about this. So right now, we've got 60 people on this call. When we start, at one point in time, we had 70-something people on this. 15 of them have dropped off.
72,
right, 12 have dropped off. God alone knows why. I mean, I think this is hugely important. And if they drop off, maybe it just says that, I don't know how much value they're putting on it. But this is going to be huge. Here's what I know. The biggest recruiter in IM Academy is a guy called Michael Angel Martin. Brandon sponsored him. Michael Angel Martin spends thousands and thousands of dollars every single month on advertising. But Michael Angel Martin has sponsored 10 people a week, every week, for the last 4 years using a system like that. He's now brought in more than...
Can you repeat that?
He's sponsored 10 people a week, every week, for the last 4 years. He's brought in more than 2,000 personally sponsored people. That makes him the biggest recruiter in IM Academy. And if you think about how many people you need, even if not one of them signed anyone else up, if all 2,000 came on board just as customers, just as trade, he'd still be Chairman 25. And he'd be knocking on the door of Chairman 50. That's just using a system like this. And when Simon and I first discussed it, Simon said that he didn't think he was the most exciting speaker when he saw some of his videos. So, we know we've got huge amounts of personality in this, and we've got people on this Zoom right now with us who've got tons and tons of personalities. Guys, you will kill it with this. I know how many people that I can see right on this first page that will make chairman with this. And we've never had anything like that before. So make hay, as the saying goes. I'm going to put this recording out for everyone so you can get it, you can watch it again. If you have any questions, you know where we are. Expect Diva to be with you within a week. We're hoping you'll have it within the week, so you're all ready to go. As soon as you've got it, guys, please, 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 hugely important that we get this feedback from you every day on a daily basis, at least for the first 3-4 weeks, because as long as we've got that feedback back, we can be sending that through to John. It's going to help us to define the audience that we're working with and help us to improve the quality of the leads every single day. Right now, Simon and I showed you a bunch of leads in there, but we've still got less than 100 leads that we're feeding back. Between us, we'll end up with thousands of leads sending back, as we've got data from thousands of people. This is why Google and Facebook are such giant companies, because they have data. Right now, you're going to collect data for us. You're going to give us what we need to know. We'll know how effective this is becoming, and we'll know how to make it better and better for you. I'm going to open the mics up so everyone can say.
My final message is: anyone watching this right now or listening to the recording, if you wanted a Diva bot, then let me know and I will break his arm, let alone twist it. So I will guarantee that I will get you a bot. So if you want one, come through to me. If you've got my WhatsApp, fantastic. If you need my number, 07973 7973 79. Send me a message. I live on WhatsApp, so send me a message.
Right, let's unmute everybody. And you're all muted. How excited was everybody? Guys, tomorrow night's call is desperately important for every single one of you. You want to try and hit position before Diva comes if you can. If you can hit P150 before Diva comes, you already position yourself to start making commissions on it straight away. So get people on tomorrow night's call, get people onto Thursday night's call.
Unmute everybody, Roger.
Say it again.
Unmute everybody.
I have done.
Roger, when will we get the link for tomorrow night to send out to people?
I will send it out after this call. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Right. They're quiet, aren't they? Yeah.
Okay, catch you later, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.